Hey guys, and welcome to the third section of my Holy Paladin guide. In this section of the guide, I'll be covering stat priorities, so that includes mainly gems, enchants, stat priorities depending on different situations you're in. So first off, I'm going to start talking to you about more of a haste focus build. I usually prefer to use haste focus builds right at the beginning of patches, usually because obviously haste saves people's lives because of the faster casting, so you can get a lot more healing output from haste in comparison to crit or mastery. So obviously the benefit you have with haste is pretty much it's the biggest throughput stat, so you will have the highest burst healing and more than likely the highest healing per second. The downside of haste is it's very mana intensive. Obviously the more haste you have, the more spirit you need to counter it. The main haste breakpoints you want to be aiming for are 777, 2513 and 3493. The 777 haste breakpoint gives an extra tick on Holy Radiance. The 2.5k gives an extra tick when Bloodlust is activated, and the 3.5k breakpoint gives us a 5th tick of Holy Radiance with no cooldowns up. Obviously, managing to obtain 3.5k haste, you will probably need to sacrifice quite a lot of spirit, and you'll need the Valor haste trinket. However, when you've got 3.5k haste, it really will make your Holy Radiance very powerful. It's probably not worth aiming for this though if you're not, full on really good geared, because otherwise you're just going to be probably having some serious mana issues. So if you're going for pretty much an ultimate haste build, your stat priority is obviously going to be intellect first, then spirit, then haste, then you can pretty much pick between mastery and crit. That's just personal preference. Personally, my favourite type of build is more of a mastery focused build. I like this type of mastery build because you can pretty much get a lot more efficiency on your spells. I mean, in about item level 395 I've been pulling, being able to keep up over about 30k healing per second without having too many mana issues. And I think I'm currently sitting on about 18 mastery, which is a 27% absorb. So this will make all of my single target, then the initial hit of my Holy Radiance, pretty much 27% more potent. Considering there is an awful lot of spike damage in the new Dragon Soul encounters, my mastery can help an awful lot, especially when I'm solo or 2-man healing, can help to even off spike damage. The downside, however, to a mastery build, and this is a pretty big downfall, is the very long cast, so obviously it can be much harder to get your heals in. As you can probably see during this video, my Holy Radiance, Divine Light and Holy Light are on about a 2.1 to 2.2 second cast, which is pretty long and heavy cast. So to be honest, that's about it for the differences between the specs. You can obviously go for a lot more different specs depending on what you're doing. If you like 25-man raid healing, kind of constant raid healing, you could go for mastery and you wouldn't have to be there spot healing so much. However, if you're 25-man tank healing, you might need to get your heals out faster to keep that tank up if you're possibly the only tank healer. Then obviously haste probably scales a bit better with gear. If you're going to hit that 3.5k haste breakpoint, then that would really make you a very powerful AoE healer, and also your burst healing would be, to be honest, pretty insane. Gotta remember also, stacking that 3.5k haste rating would put you at the global cooldown cap, meaning you're basically wasting absolutely no time between your casts. You could pretty much spam out your Holy Shock, your Word of Glory, your Light of Dawn, and there will be almost no delay between them. Now, after explaining all of this to you, if you're still watching, then you probably want to know what my build is. I've actually gone with 777 haste rating, then after that I have stacked full on mastery. My stat priority is intellect, spirit, then 777 haste, After that, I'm full on mastery. With my trinket stacked up, it puts me on about 4.1k spirit, so obviously I'm having absolutely no mana problems. I managed to hit about 70k healing per second on Ultra Axiom, quite a lot to be honest, and I finished the fight with still a fair amount of mana left. Some people would say there's a way of overdoing spirit and to stack throughput stats over it, but I always think, you know, if you run out of mana, mana is your only resource for healing apart from holy power, so why limit that?